Susadai, and welcome to the Khmerican podcast. To help support our work, please visit Cambo Fresh Clothing, which has created a Khmer-inspired line of urban fashion. To show your Cambodian-American pride and support Khmerican.com, go to cambofresh.com and use code Khmerican at checkout. My name is Will Koenig. I'm a journalist and author of At Home on the Mekong. I'm here with Greg Cahill. He's the director of The Golden Voice, a movie about Ros Sereysothea. Greg, for those who are unfamiliar with the story, who was Ros Sereysothea?
Ros Sereysothea was Cambodia's most famous and beloved female singer from about 1967 to 1975. She was a very prolific artist who recorded several thousand songs over the course of those years. And ultimately, she was killed by the Khmer Rouge after they took power. But she's the kind of figure whose music has survived to this day and is still widely celebrated in Cambodia and within the Cambodian community abroad as well.
What originally drew you to this story to create this film?
I first heard Ros Sereysothea on the soundtrack to a film called City of Ghosts, which was written and directed by Matt Dillon. I believe the film came out in 2002 or 2003. And the soundtrack to the film featured several Cambodian musicians from the 1960s and 70s, and I was really taken with the music, and I was particularly enamored with this female singer, Ros Sereysothea, and I had no idea who she was or anything. So I was reading the notes on the soundtrack, and it turned out that she and all the other musicians that I was hearing had all been murdered by the Khmer Rouge, and that's when I thought that there must be some kind of incredible story behind this music. So that's when I started meeting with the Cambodian community in Long Beach, California, and started researching her story and who she was, and it turned out she was this huge star at the time. And from there, I wrote a script that depicts her last couple months of her life in the Khmer Rouge labor camp, and we shot the short film in 2006. We actually shot it in Los Angeles. And it stars Sophia Pell as Ros Sereysothea, and she's actually a singer in real life, so she was actually performing on camera quite a bit, which was very nice. And then the film was released in, I believe, 2007, and it's been, for a short film, it's made quite a splash and been pretty successful, and it's drawn a lot of enthusiasm. For me, the whole purpose of creating the short film was to use as a springboard to make a feature film about Ros Sereysothea. So over the course of the past couple of years, I've developed a feature-length script looking to produce as soon as possible and turn into a full-length film about her complete life story. So that's kind of been the whole goal all along of the film.
How long did it take you to film it, though? Between creating the short film and making the final product?
I believe I started writing the short film in, I want to say, March or April of 2006, and we completed post-production in October of 2006. So about 6 months total, but it was a 5-day shoot, so it was pretty quick. I mean, it's a 25-minute film.
Were there any difficulties in filming in Cambodia?
Golden Voice was shot in Los Angeles.
Oh, it was all shot in Los Angeles. So nothing was filmed in Cambodia?
For the short film, no.
Okay. For the final production, for the longer, is that still in the works then, or is that
Yeah, that's still in development.
Oh,
That
okay.
hasn't been. Yeah, but when it is produced, yes, it would be shot in Cambodia.
All right. Where can people see the Golden Voice, the short version that you have now?
The short film is available on DVD, and that can be ordered through our website, which is thegoldenvoicemovie.com. It's very simple. You just go there, order the DVD, and it's usually shipped out pretty quick. But I think we ran out of DVDs recently, so I'm having more made. But we should be up and running again soon.
Is there a reason you decided to go with physical media rather than online distribution through, say, Amazon or iTunes or other web services?
To be Yeah, to be honest, I haven't with the short film. I haven't really explored digital distribution. It's something that I will consider, especially now that my feature film is coming out. I'm considering doing kind of a package deal where you get Two Shadows along with the short film.
Well, speaking of Two Shadows, can you tell us about this next project of yours?
Yeah, Two Shadows is my first feature film, and it's a drama about a Cambodian-American girl who goes back to Cambodia to search for her brother and sister because they were all separated after the Khmer Rouge. Um, that film was shot in Cambodia. We did it, it was 2009. And then we actually had to shoot a week in Los Angeles in 2010 because I had to raise more money. And then the film was completed in March of 2011. So that one was quite a long process, and it kept getting stalled because of money. So it was kind of the kind of thing where we could sprint 100 meters, get more money, sprint another 50 meters, get more money, and then get more money to sprint to the finish line. It was that kind of stop and start process, which was frustrating, but I think when you're doing something that's this low budget and it's a passion project, that's kind of the modus operandi. So it all worked out, and I think it's a sweet kind of film. It's been submitted to many film festivals, so we're in a bit of a holding pattern. As for when it will play in the U.S., I'm not sure yet, but regardless, we are looking to set up a series of screenings, definitely starting in California with the Cambodian community, and then spread out from there. And I think the current plan is to put it on DVD and Blu-ray possibly in April, and then subsequently do digital distribution.
Okay. Any other projects beyond that, or you just focus on getting this out the door right now?
For me, the two main projects at the moment are getting Two Shadows out there. That's the feature film, and simultaneously getting the feature-length version of The Golden Voice, getting that rolling and getting that moving. So it's a bit of a handful between the two.
It sounds like it. All right. Well, how did you get into this? I mean, it's a Cambodia is not exactly a major destination for a lot of filmmakers.
Yeah. Well, my background is independent film. I went to NYU Film School, and I've been living in Los Angeles for almost 7 years now, and I work in television. I'm a production coordinator, and I've done a few shows, Medium for CBS and Mad Men for Lionsgate, and that's what I do to pay the bills. But filmmaking's my passion. And as for how did I get into Cambodia, again, it was the film City of Ghosts, Matt Dillon's film. Because I had never seen Cambodia on film. I've heard of it, I've read about it, a little bit of the history, but I'd never really actually seen it. And I think to see it at that time, I think City of Ghosts is kind of a time capsule of Phnom Penh when it was just first recovering from war. So it was definitely a different Phnom Penh than what we see outside here today, where it's quite developed, probably surprisingly developed to some people. So when Matt Dillon shot there, it was still extremely rugged, which painted a very vivid image on the screen, and I had never seen anything quite like it. So I was pretty enamored by that. But the thing that really drew me to it was Ros Sereysothea, her music. So I think Cambodia is it's just one of these places that has a long tradition of arts and culture. The arts here are very strong and have very deep roots. I mean, you look at the architecture, you look at the classical dance, the music, the artwork, all the temples, and you can see it's very obvious that this is a very artistic culture, and I think that's the thing that drew me in and made me really fascinated by it.
That's all for this podcast. For the latest news about what is happening in the Cambodian-American community, go to Khmerican.com. Theme music courtesy of Bo Chan Hoi. For more information, go to bochanmusic.com.
Nam